The fairy tale crumbled long ago. What began as a whirlwind romance, a beacon of modernity in a stuffy institution, has devolved into a saga of suspicion, scrutiny, and a palace quietly tightening its grip. We're not talking about a simple falling out. We're talking about the very foundations of the monarchy, lineage, and the explosive question of whether Archie and Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor are who we've been told they are. From the moment Meghan Markle stepped onto the world stage, she was a disruptor, a biracial American actress, marrying into the most famous family on the planet, promising a fresh perspective, a touch of Hollywood glamour to the stoic House of Windsor. But almost immediately, whispers began. Shadows danced around the edges of her carefully constructed narrative. It started subtly, with questions about her ambition, her perceived disregard for royal protocol, and then escalated into something far darker. Doubts about the authenticity of her pregnancy. The internet, of course, became a breeding ground for conspiracy. The moon bump theory, the suggestion of surrogacy, the accusations of a staged performance. It sounds outlandish, the stuff of supermarket tabloids, but the persistence of these rumors, fueled by online sleuths dissecting every photograph, every gesture, every public appearance, has been relentless. The pregnancy video, intended as a sweet glimpse into a private moment, only poured gasoline on the fire. Meghan, dancing, twerking even, in what appeared to be a hospital room, struck many as bizarre, inappropriate, a desperate attempt to control the narrative. Some called it sick, gross, a performance by someone socially inept. And while Meghan and Harry decried the intrusion of the media, they simultaneously courted the spotlight, strategically releasing carefully curated images and sound bites. The Oprah interview, the Netflix docuseries, the Spotify podcast, all attempts to tell their side of the story, to paint themselves as victims of a callous and racist institution. But with each carefully crafted narrative, the questions lingered. Were they truly seeking privacy, or were they simply manipulating the media to their own advantage? Now, the whispers have reached a fever pitch, and the palace, after years of silence, has seemingly responded. Not with fiery statements or public rebuttals, but with something far more potent, a meticulous review of royal records. Names, dates, medical confirmations, legal documentation, the unglamorous, unyielding paperwork that underpins the entire monarchy. This isn't about feelings, victim narratives, or Netflix deals. It's about lineage, accuracy, and constitutional order. King Charles, facing his own health challenges and the long shadow of scandals past, is in cleanup mode. The era of mess and mixed messaging is over. He's tightening the ship, streamlining the monarchy, and protecting it from further embarrassment. The removal of Prince Andrew, stripped of his titles and patronages after his connection to the Epstein scandal became undeniable, serves as a stark warning. Bring risk to the crown, lose access to it. And that same principle, it appears, is now being applied across the board. The review of royal records, the quiet but deliberate scrutiny of Archie and Lilibet's lineage, has sent shockwaves through the Sussex camp. Meghan, reportedly in panic mode, understands that paperwork doesn't bend to PR narrative, records don't respond to interviews, and lineage doesn't care about branding. The carefully constructed image, the narrative of victimhood, the relentless pursuit of attention, all of it crumbles under the weight of cold, hard facts. The Sussex strategy, once seemingly invincible, is now visibly faltering. For years, they masterfully positioned themselves as victims, battling a heartless institution. But what happens when the institution stops battling back? When it simply starts organizing, clarifying, and preparing for the future, all in silence? Quiet moves, as history has shown, are often the most devastating. Harry, snubbed by his own father, watched as working royals were mandated to attend a party during his Invictus Games service in London. The message was deafening. Service ties directly to privilege, titles are attached to responsibility, and entitlement without service is now a relic of the past. Charles, it seems, is willing to be friendly and supportive to Harry as a private person, as his dad, but he will not throw the weight of the monarchy behind his endeavors. The core issue boils down to this. Titles do not automatically guarantee succession. Courtesy titles are not constitutional ones. Archie and Lilibet may hold titles by style, but the line of succession is governed by law, verified documentation, and strict adherence to royal protocol. Any ambiguity will be addressed, any incompleteness will be rectified. The palace isn't chasing the Sussexes anymore. It's moving forward without them. This silence, this structure, this tightening of the ship is a return to form for a monarchy that has always relied on order and clarity to thrive. Scandals and controversies have tarnished its image, and both King Charles and Prince William are determined to restore its reputation. No more privileges without service. The question then becomes, how can you banish yourself from the palace, yet still expect to benefit from it? Harry and Meghan seem to have deluded themselves into believing that the world would forever remain on their side. They wielded victimhood as a weapon against the crown, all while continuing to profit from their royal connection. But the tides are turning. Meghan Markle has meticulously crafted an image of herself as an elite, an influential figure whose words carry weight. She has used everything and everyone, including her own children, to solidify her position. Now, that very foundation is crumbling. She is slowly but surely losing her connection to the royal family. Without that title, without that connection, she risks becoming a has-been, a cautionary tale. This internal review of the royal archive is not intended as punishment. It is a restoration of order after years of turmoil caused by various members of the family. The Sussexes have wielded their titles as weapons, but they cannot escape the fundamental truth. You cannot reject royal duty and still demand royal relevance. You cannot monetize royal identity while refusing royal accountability, and you cannot expect the crown to bend constitutional rules for personal comfort. This is not about punishing children, it is about preserving the institution. Clear records, clear order, clear lines of succession. The monarchy is being reformed for survival, becoming smaller, clearer, and more disciplined. Working royals carry duties and responsibilities together, while non-working royals live private lives without constitutional weight. That is the crux of the tension. The palace's silent moves are beginning to speak volumes. Meghan Markle has been positioning herself to become an elite, a person of symbol who speaks and is listened to. She uses anything and anybody, including her kids, to solidify her position. Now, that very thing that makes heads turn towards her is being threatened. Turn on the head, please. Meghan and one more single. She's slowly but surely losing her connection to the royal family. Without that title, without the connection, she risks becoming a has-been, a cautionary tale. This internal review of the royal archive isn't meant as punishment. It's a restoration of order after years of turmoil caused by various members of the family. The Sussexes have wielded their titles as weapons, but they cannot escape the fundamental truth. You cannot reject royal duty and still demand royal relevance. You cannot monetize royal identity while refusing royal accountability, and you cannot expect the crown to bend constitutional rules for personal comfort. This is not about punishing children. It is about preserving the institution. Clear records, clear order, clear lines of succession. The monarchy is being reformed for survival, becoming smaller, clearer, and more disciplined. Working royals carry duties and responsibilities together, while non-working royals live private lives without constitutional weight. That is the crux of the tension. The palace's silent moves are beginning to speak volumes. Meghan Markle has been positioning herself to become an elite, a person of symbol who speaks and is listened to. She uses anything and anybody, including her kids, to solidify her position. Now that very thing that makes heads turn towards her is being threatened. Turn on the head, please. Meghan and one more single. But what does it all mean for Archie and Lilibet? Are they truly in line for the throne? Will their birth certificates withstand the palace's scrutiny? The answers to these questions remain shrouded in secrecy, locked away in the dusty archives of Buckingham Palace. The irony, of course, is inescapable. Meghan, who once championed modernity and transparency, is now facing the very forces she sought to dismantle. The institution she accused of racism and oppression is now quietly, methodically dismantling her carefully constructed narrative. The video, the jam, the cooking show, the endless stream of interviews and photo ops, all of it now seems like a desperate attempt to cling to relevance, to maintain control in a world that is rapidly slipping away. The Jam Renor, as she's been dubbed, failed to create a product worthy of the Markle name. Her Netflix show was a flop, ridiculed for its fakeness and awkwardness. Even her attempts to break into the fashion world have been met with skepticism and derision. The world is waking up and seeing her runny jam for what it is, a sham. And what of Harry? Once the beloved rogue prince, now seemingly adrift, caught in the undertow of his wife's ambition. Has he truly found happiness in California? Or is he simply a pawn in Meghan's game? The Invictus Games, once a symbol of his dedication to wounded veterans, now feels tainted by the Sussexes' relentless self-promotion. The couple who claim to seek privacy are now more visible than ever, their every move dissected and analyzed by a global audience. They wanted to escape the fishbowl of royal life, but they have created an even more intense and scrutinizing environment for themselves. They chastise the media for invading their privacy, yet they constantly seek out the spotlight, strategically leaking information and staging photo opportunities. The Duchess of Sussex claimed that she wanted to live a quiet life in America as she didn't have that in the UK. Yet, she begs her way into a controversial brand fashion show and tried to lie about it. Her pursuit for attention is relentless, and her inability to put in the good work is very obvious. The truth, it seems, is far more complex and far more unsettling than either side is willing to admit. The fairy tale is over. The modern monarchy is in crisis, and the future of the House of Windsor hangs in the balance. The world is watching. The palace is silent, and the game, it seems, is far from over.